attending, and thanks for you, sir, for giving me the chance to start first. And as you are coming from long away flight and we are flying. What I'll be talking today about is about flip class. That it's something that I tried since 10 years in my classes, and I always switch with my students. And how did I find it very good advantages of it, and how I apply applied action method to improve social sciences and inspire students in terms of everything. In terms of finding employment, getting involved, helping the community society, and turning things from being in a box to make it realistic in action. Our classical classroom, it's always either one of these layouts that we are sitting on, and always the teacher is standing here in the middle, and the students will come in. What I try to do in a flipped class, that's first I try, whenever we have a nice weather like you, I just give the class outside. And now with the technology, it's very easy. Even when we have a PowerPoint presentation, we send it in the WhatsApp group and everyone can have it in the shared document. So there is no more problem that you are stuck in a closed classroom because you have facilities here. The other thing that always I make my students giving the lecture, and this is giving them a lots of chance that they have to read, they have to prepare. They use lots of they try to be as best as they can because they want to get mark of it. And of course there are lots of literature written about what is a flipped class, the advantage of it, how they use, when they use games that they know and we are not familiar with, like Kahoot, like other things, they do the flip videos. So they are really now today, the younger you are, the more skills you have. If you have any problem in your devices, go for the youngest person in your family and they are going to do it. So here they try in every and each class how do they use different games. Even when I teach here sociology, it's very theoretical, very difficult. I'm talking about bureaucracy and other things that it's really difficult to transfer by just giving a lecture. So they try to make it in their own languages where I'm there always to supervise and help. They try to make it more creative by chocolates, by whatever they can, so they know better the language that the students will understand better than me. One of the other methods that I've used with Dr. Mohammed, although it was for a few years when we were together in University of Bahrain, he teaches master students in School of Business, and I teach sociology students. We try to make a multidisciplinary blended approach where we mix our students together. And here, when today he was talking about socioeconomy, it's what's our problem, that people in social science, they study social science separately. People who study economy, they start from their point of view. People who study each and every topic, they study it separately. When we talk about multidisciplinary work, it should start even from the university. Not only to bringing the concept into my lecture, but from the beginning we mix our students, and we even let here bachelor students evaluate and give lecture to master students and vice versa. This helps them a lot to improve lots of skill and make their broader, because from different disciplines they come, they will be asked different questions. So it will let them to go for real life. In real life, I'm not going to work only with people from my discipline, especially if I'm not going to work in academia. So I don't go long. We know that a lot has been said about actual research and how to make it applied, how to make it in a real life. That's how it should be a participation between participants and researchers. And always I deal with my students as if they are researchers, even if they are only bachelor students. I don't deal with them that they are only students, because they are really ready to be a researchers, to go to the field, to change the whole society. So they need to do this organizational change. So what I try to make it applied, and through this presentation, I want to show how did I make this actual research applied, and this flipped class that I'm talking about, and how it's added value for the knowledge. Actual research, as lots of literature, you will say that my topic is not new, a lot has been said about it. It's about observing, reflecting, acting, and evaluating. What I try to do, I try to adapt this, that I make theories. The problem that we had here in Bahrain, that we had lots of theories, especially when we talk about sociology topics, how can we make them applied, how we link it to the practice, because it's very easy to talk about lots of theories in the word and they memorize it and they will be always a student. How to link it to the practice, this was the thing that I was trying to do it, and to be closer to the field, and to write the reports and to link these theory to the practice that they try to modify. Because of the social science, it's one of the most important topics to be closer to the environment. As the last speaker he was saying, when he was saying, like if you have a PhD in swimming, but you never swim, you never touch the water, so it's not good. Maybe you know all the mathematics and the ways and the sports and the movements, but if you don't go and touch the water ever, no matter even if you have a PhD. So it was like the same method that I was trying to link them. So here my research question was how to reflect applied teaching to help in inspiring the students. And as always we say in an inspiration economy, it was one of the first book published about an inspiration economy by Dr. Muhammad, who we have done for all last year students in higher education in Bahrain. That we normally divide our students to A students, B students, C students. So these are gifted students. But we rarely have studies that say who are the inspiring students. And what he found in his research, that not mostly inspiring students are not always the A students. Maybe B students and C students are mostly the inspiring students. Students, he tried to find like a formula for who are the inspiring students. It was students who work more in volunteer work were more inspiring students, no matter what was their work, their marks is. Students who came from a problematic families or areas, poorer families, having some sickness, illnesses in their family, was one of the things that he found that it's making students more inspiring. And of course, multilinguistic students who speak more than one language was one of the main methods that he found in his study. So where we here, we find that to make it an applied technique, that's making them more closer to the field. It was not only to volunteer in the field, but to make a change in the field, and how it affected them to inspire them for their future, and how it affects their future performance to get employer. And our main goal is always in an inspiration economy is to try to make our students job creator, not job seekers. And this is one of the main problems that we always face, that we have the unemployment rate, and we think that it's always a government problem to find job for the students, while all the market is open and now everything is changed and they should be a job creator about lots of things. So we try to say, and what I'm trying to say, that we are taking the theory from what to hear, that we normally do in our lecture, so they go to see, reflect, and then to do. And there are lots of things that I try to do. Okay, I'm not going to start in the first 2 weeks, I'll not start in the last 2 weeks that I have exams. There are lots of formalities by the university. I will adjust it when we have like religious occasion. For some field visits, it's very hot back in Bahrain, so I try to adjust it even with the weather, what to bring it down. So there are lots of formalities and paperwork that we have to do. And is this process making it more difficult for me? No. What I try to do when we go for these visits, always there's a coordinator in the class who will coordinate, for example, the project that we are going to do. There are always all the students who is going to write. One of the students who's going to collect the students, all of the reports, will mark it and will give us only the brief about it. So this didn't make any difficulties for me as a teacher, but it gave every and each student a chance to be a teacher one day and collect the reports. So there were lots of things making the practicing much easier and doable for me. So it even enhanced for them the feedback and feed forward, and it helped them to learn from each other. Although she was the coordinator for this topic, but because she had the chance to read everyone's report and to do the brief, it gave her a real chance to learn from it. So it gave her time not only to hear and see, but also to reflect. And these are the cycles that I worked on it all over the years. So whenever I start, I do the theory, the visits, the process I just talked about, and I do it in a cycle. So we do it the first project or visit, the second one, and modify and modify and modify, and always in the modification there are a questionnaire when I see modification after each one. So each and every semester it's going to improve, although through the reports or visits and theories, and even the way we explain the theories And to add to the body knowledge will be going to be repeated. And this is how the cycles go years after years, and how it change, and I'm going to show you how it changed even in my students' life. Of course, the change is coming depending on the feedback and how I'm going to change the process. There are lots of benefits of using this action, which I talk about. It's not a very simple one like breaking students' fear, the awareness, the job opportunities they are going to have, because they are going to be more accessible to the job opportunities, familiar more with the Bahraini welfare system, not only through books and whatever I tell them, and to have the chance to link theory to practices. So this also involves them in planning the things, even when they talk about projects that they have to change something. So they go into through lots of admin work, process work, planning work, not only the topic that they are studying, and this is specifically topic that I'm talking about. So this also teaches them in a way or another how to do the problem solving, because what they are required to do, that they have to solve a problem within the projects that they are asked for. I'm sure you all know about called experience learning, and how he talked about the 4 stages cycle, and how I try to modify called theory in the way I was trying to apply my action research, and how I try to link it. So this is how the applied teaching and Honey and Manford theory, and how I try to reflect it through the visit, observation, and reports that students do. So here how we try to talk, this is one of the biggest petroleum companies there. Normally people say, okay, you are studying social science. What's the link with that, with social science with petroleum company? And I was saying, no, if it's affecting the environment, affecting their social life, they should be aware of it, and the companies should be aware of such topics. Normally, who goes to these companies are normally the engineers. So here when you link them, and when you say that really we are having this multidisciplinary work, this is through different field visits that they go on different occasions and places, and how they know it's now today, even if we are talking about solar, about friendly environments, all these work, if they are engineerings are doing, but this mindset of the people will not change, you will never have it done. So here where social science need to be closer to these things, because they are going to be the people, if the engineer will do the equipment, but the social science are engineering their mindset. So here where they need to be closer to it, and that's why we go for different field visits. Of course, there are lots of ethical issues and difficulties toward this, to going through permissions and university paper, but all in all, it's all doable and it's worth it for me. So, when I started this 10 years ago, it was students visiting others' projects. Through the years, the students moved from students visiting other projects to working in other projects. So it will be not only students' benefits, as I started my presentation, but only to make a community benefit towards it. For example, this was about, for example, the projects of recycling that we have, and how we have lots of societies working in it. They try to help them in this. These are the students helping to raise awareness in the school, the social sciences students. I mean, this was a project that was done of one of the NGOs, that they collect the plastic to buy equipment for people with disability. So how our social sciences help at the beginning to raise awareness in the schools, and really it's now getting really very popular, and you can't see any wasted plastics in the schools, and this was a big help from the students. I didn't try this only in Bahrain, this was also even tried in Bosnia by me and Dr. Mohammed Bouhaji. When we were working with one of the NGOs there, that one of the problem of the NGOs that they always have a lack of manpower. And one of the reasons that they say that they don't renew their case studies, they don't have a real study for the cases, because they have the lack of manpower and skill power. So here when we had access with the Bosnian University, with the social work department there, Islamic and social work department, so we tell them, let us make it a win-win situation. Let us bring your students to help the NGO to improve their work, and for the student it was experience to get a real field work experience where they went to homes and they could do the case studies there. So this is something that we try to apply in more than one setup and to be more involved in projects. Then I try to move from visiting to working for others to encourage students to work in their own projects. That each and every group I have, that they have to work in one project that will change something in our community with no less than 10 people in their and the study that they are doing. So here's some of the projects, sorry, the advertised are all in Arabic as it was. For example, one of the projects they worked in was that we are having today, a lot of kids are, no, this was for adults, even university adults, who are addicted to the electronic games. So they have this PUBG and I don't know what, that you can see students, they say we spend 5 hours, 10 hours, that they always think that they are through these electronic things. And we always think that being addicted was always, that we used to study, it's about getting addicted to drugs and alcohol. But today addiction is something different. Today addiction is more difficult, that we are more addicted to the electronic devices. And how do they do it? In this case, they try to work really with university students, where they worked with them for 3 months. They created a model and a form and how to try to help a person to reduce the hours of playing in these games. I know we cannot say that now today there is a magic that will bring me, that will let me not to work and use my devices at all, or for a young generation not to work in these games, and life for them is all about the games they are entering. But they really work hard, and now they are even trying to making it a project for them. Now they are graduated and they are working and how to turn this a business for them. So here where they turn from job seekers to job creator. Another project was about minimizing unemployment rates, and here when they went to lots of unemployed youth and how they tried to work with their mindset and to look and evaluate their skills, not their certificates and mark, so they turn and to open businesses for them. So this was one of the projects, and lots of other projects that they do. One of the projects also they've done with kids, even addicted. And this is one of the projects, the one they've done with kids that still, they are trying to link it to one of the clinics in Bahrain. The clinics giving you clinical help, but they are trying to sell the model, their model to how to, for the mothers, to how to let their kids to reduce their hours of using the devices, as it is a big problem we are facing here. So then we tried to move the students from creating their own project to study to the society to participate in a competition. And as you know that there are lots of youth competition around the world. So now, and not only by the name of the university, it's their own, it's labeled by their name. So they don't have to be any more university students, and they try to participate in lots of competition, and some of them went through these competitions. And then finally, they take the last step, that the students take their project to business and become a job creator that I've just talked about and how they used it. So this is in short how we try to make apply this model. And of course we do have lots of factors to promote success for students, like not only the written variables and having jobs, not to be job seekers after they go, and I always follow up their feedback that they give us, and when they give us blindly on the university websites, a lot of feedback about how they prefer this and how it did affect them after they visit. We also get feedbacks from the society and how it helped the society, and also from the media. So I hope I was right on time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Question, please.
Any questions?
Madam, is it a study?
Sorry?
Is it a study?
I can't understand the question.
Is it a study?
Yes, it's a study.
You don't know research methodology.
Mm-hmm.
First you go and study research methodology. There is certain norms for
Yes.
carrying any study.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no parameters. There is no statistical tools.
Yeah.
There is no you can use rating scale, you can use any scale.
Yes.
Therefore, it is an observation, only an observation.
Okay. Maybe I was trying to be really on time. If you just can't remove it.
No study.
No. Just a minute. Can you remove? Excuse me.
Only observation.
Okay. What I want to tell you that it's not only built on observation. There was a study, and one of the papers are already published before a few years. And the reason that I'm telling you it's a study, not because of where I was telling you here, that it's not done only through one questionnaires here. So here, where I was trying just to, sorry. So yeah. I didn't want to present the methodological things because I thought everyone here is aware. I was trying to bring the idea, not the methodological part. But what happened because of academic, they tried to give 80% to talk about the methodology and forget the idea. It's methodological. There was questionnaires. Questionnaires are piloted. And each cycle, there is a pilots. Every semester for me is pilots. It's improved. It's well evaluated and it's remeasured. I do have it qualitatively and quantitatively. I do have also measures that come also from the organization that we visit, that we take it and then we analyze it. I put it in an EndNote program, and this is also done even with my statistical students, that they have the evaluation. After all this, we try to do the measurements and to follow-ups even after graduation with my students. So methodologically, it's done. I didn't present the methodological part just to be, because they told me it's only a 10-minute presentation. I thought I'll give more time to the idea rather than the methodology.
This may be a guest lecture. This is not a research study, madam.
I appreciate your point of view. Yes, yeah, I appreciate your point of view. Thanks.
Without parameters, without sampling, without statistical tools, how you can, without any model?
I don't know if I can tell you, it's all here.
Yeah.
I didn't present the
It
data.
is only one part of the methodology. It is only one part of the methodology. There are so many parts in methodology. If you go to intervention, observation, study, then you go some tools,
Yes.
parameters also you are not using any. Rating, you can use rating scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your feedback, and I've used this, but thank you for your feedback.
This is a guest lecture.
Yeah, they told me it's 10-minute presentation,
Yeah.
and that's what I thought.
Yeah. Good. Nice presentation. Any question more? Thank you.
RS University, Raipur. Next section is Social and Humanity. Award goes to Dr. Dunya, Ahmed, Department of Social Sciences, University of Bahrain, Bahrain. Next section is Animal, Veterinary and Fishery. Award goes to Dr. A. Vyas, Assistant Professor, Junagadh Agriculture University, Junagadh, Gujarat.